from 5 lakh rupees to get to 125 crores. If anyone can do the math, that is what the power of real estate is.
How on earth did Mumbai become more expensive than Manhattan?
Is Mumbai's real estate boom just to cover black money, investors' greed, and infra hype?
Or is the city truly building a better future? Mumbai's real estate is booming. But for whom? Is this development or just another bubble waiting to burst?
What are the most important parameters that you're supposed to gauge before you make an investment in Mumbai real estate?
Okay, this is a pile of cash which is 10 to 25 lakh rupees. If I take a matchstick and I burn it, then it's not gonna make a difference in my life.
What is the hype of Mumbai 3 and Navi Mumbai all about?
Our dearest Chief Minister on one of the national televisions had very clearly mentioned,
Mumbai has lived its time as a business capital.
What can I get for 10 lakh rupees in Mumbai?
you can get
Sir, when do you think the slum problem in Mumbai will be solved?
governments change, policies change. If these policies continue, I keep on saying that do not fall within the trap of buy land today and double your money tomorrow. If anyone is telling you that, then they are lying to you straight on your face.
Which are the most important areas that are still investable in Mumbai? So if a person's house goes into redevelopment, how much return can this person expect?
2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, it depends on
What is the difference between Mumbai, Mumbai 3 and Navi Mumbai? Would you recommend buying a land in Mumbai 3 or an apartment in Mumbai 3? Is Mumbai real estate even worth it? With minimum capital, how can I maximize my returns?
you have to
Before we jump in, I want to thank Odoo for supporting this podcast. Now listen to this very carefully, especially if you're a business owner, founder, freelancer, or just someone with big dreams. Because what I'm about to tell you could be the difference between closing your next big deal or watching it slip through your fingers. Let's be real, guys. In today's fast-paced world, a single missed follow-up can cost you lakhs. That is why you need to know about Odoo CRM, the tool that's changing the way India is doing business. So whether you're managing 10 leads or 10,000 leads, Odoo helps you track every lead, every deal, every call, all in just one place. With sleek Kanban view, you will always know what's moving, what's stuck, and what needs your attention instantly. And with Odoo's chatter system, you will never lose an activity or an email or a client update ever again. But wait, it gets better. Once the deal is closed, you can send a beautiful quotation right from the opportunity tab itself. And with custom dashboards, revenue forecasting, and real-time insights at your fingertips, Odoo isn't just your CRM, it's your business command center. So if you're building the next big thing or even just getting started, this is your sign to stop winging it and start winning with Odoo CRM. And here's the best part. Your first Odoo app is free for life along with hosting and support included. So hit the link in the description, sign up for Odoo, and take full control of your customer game starting from today. So today in the podcast, I have a very specific agenda. The agenda that I have for today's podcast is that I don't know anything about Mumbai real estate, but I've been hearing a lot about Mumbai real estate. And to be very honest, it doesn't make any logical sense to me because I was just looking at some stat and I heard that in 2024, Altamount Road, is that correct? Am I spelling it right?
Altamount Road, yeah.
1.95 lakh rupees per square foot, which is more expensive than Manhattan. So if you think about Mumbai as a city, the quality of life is not that great. People are great, talent is great, business is great, but pollution is very bad. During monsoon, the city comes to a standstill. Hygiene is a big issue. And you are just one signal away from missing out on your flight. But even then, I keep hearing these stories that it is a dream to own a house in Mumbai. It is Mumbai Meri Jaan and stuff like that. And then for a person who comes from Pune, Mumbai seems like a very difficult place to stay. And when you compare this to the international markets, like I went to Paris and I realized that life over there is much easier, at least in terms of traffic for the brief time that I was residing over there. So I'm just trying to wrap my head around to try and understand, is Mumbai real estate even worth it? And if yes, what exactly should be the step-by-step process to invest wisely in Mumbai? That is the agenda for today's podcast.
Okay.
So I want to start with the first question. How on earth did Mumbai become more expensive than Manhattan?
You have to think that every country and every market has its own demographics. I do not have the numbers in front of me, but New York has a different set of population and Mumbai has a different population count. I always compare Mumbai to New York. Both are island cities. Both are the financial capital. Both have their own positives. Both have their own negatives. New York also has its rat ridden streets, pea smelling subways. Mumbai has its own charm, has its own negatives. It is populated. If you take a train going from Churchgate to Virar, there is no space to stand. People are standing on the outside. There is memes about bahut jagah hai, nahi jagah hai. With the Mumbai rails. Population plays a tremendous role when it comes to the demand of residential requirement. It is a little unfair to compare the pricing of Mumbai along with New York. New York also has its pockets of these luxury properties. You have your Park Avenue, you have the Central Park and everything around that area. You have in Mumbai, you have the Altamount Road. Now, coming to Altamount Road, it's a single street. Okay, the Altamount Road, the Carmichael Road, it's a single street. It's where the who's who of the country reside. You have the top CEOs, you have the top country founders. They're all aiming to own a house over there. You're looking at 1,93,000. That might be the expensive. I would say that might be the most expensive price that you've seen. I would say that it's even more than that.
Okay.
It is the demand of space, staying in a specific area, in a specific street. Now, I was born and brought up in Andheri and Juhu. I cannot imagine myself living anywhere else. I can't imagine myself staying in Altamount Road. If I were to invest on a property, I would invest in a property where I know the demographics, where I know the demand. And when you are there in a specific street, you know people have the demand over there. What happens to the price then? Limited amount of supply and amount of demand is coming from an extremely niche set of people who are established in their own field, in their own world. So they are willing to pay whatever it takes to be in that pin code, be in that zip code. That's how real estate in general across the world works.
Okay. So, what is so special about Altamount Road that it is so expensive?
It's where who's who of everyone wants to see. Have you ever been to Altamount Road?
No.
Okay, it's a beautiful street. It is on a little raised up, maybe 300 to 500 meters above the sea level. So when your building is going to be made over there, you are anyways 400, 300, which is roughly about 30 floors above. Your views are open. You have green streets down. You have clean streets down. It is tucked away, quiet, residential space. You were complaining about how there is noise coming from the neighbors. There is no noise coming from the neighbors. Wouldn't you want to pay that much, little bit extra, or in the common man's case, more, to own a space, let your money work for you so that you can get a peaceful sleep in the night? You do not want to have neighbors. Also, a person, you have to think from the mind frame of a person who's has a luxury mind frame.
Yeah.
Whenever I deal with luxury clients, for them, it's the value that matters. It's not the money.
What do you mean by that, sir?
There's a difference between price and there's a difference between value. Okay. One person who's from the affordable sector will talk about, this is going to cost me 10,000 rupees per square feet. Now the same person who's looking at luxury, he will say, what will this 1 lakh rupees get me? So that is the difference between value and price. A person who's coming, looking at this 2 lakh rupees, almost 2 lakh rupees per square feet apartment, they don't look at the price. They look at the price later on. They first see, why is it valued at 2 lakh rupees? It's Altamount Road. It's got a nice view. It's got, I wouldn't say nice view. I've not seen the apartment. So I would say, what is the view? What is the parking scenario? Is the apartment all on one single apartment, on one floor? Who are my neighbors? How is the accessibility? Is it safe? Is it secure? What is the security in the building? What are the amenities in the building? So they have this multi-point checklist. They are not looking at the 1 lakh rupees is too much. They are thinking, their mind frame is very different. They are thinking, in 1 lakh rupees, am I getting what I want. That is the value for money concept.
Sir, what are the most important things for these luxury clients in Mumbai?
All of the above. Everything matters to them. Lifestyle matters to them. Are they able to even entertain their friends? Are they feeling? See, I'll give you an example. The prestige value for a person who's in the luxury market is very important. Today, if I am supposed to invite my friends, what is the condition of my building? Will my friends come? Or will I have to go to my friend's place? These are psychological and emotional points which are very important to the luxury buyer. Besides all the other smaller points that I've said, very, very simple and trivial things that most people will not even think about. You have a grand entrance lobby in the building, all right? Will me, my family, my child, when they're coming back from school or my wife is coming back from work or she's, in-laws are there, are they going to be able to access the lobby area? Are there steps? Is there a ramp? There are small things that they are looking at. Then from a child's aspect, my child is going to come at 3:30 in the evening, afternoon from his school. Can he come by himself or she come by himself? When I come from work, am I going to be my driver? I have a chauffeur. I have a chauffeur-driven Mercedes car that I want to drive, that I've been driven around in. Am I going to be dropping down at the lobby and then am I going to go through the lobby and take the elevator all the way up? If I am driving it myself and if I have to park the car in the basement or on the podium, will I have to take the elevator straight from that level into my apartment, or am I going to take two separate elevators to go up there? These are all small things that you have to think. You made a gesture. I'll give you an example. There is an apartment building in Andheri West. I won't name the building, but they have a lobby. It's made by an extremely renowned developer, but it was his first building that he ever made in Mumbai. Okay. And in that, you can see the design flaws. You take the car, okay? To take the elevator, you have to walk up 7 steps. Now imagine, if your mother is 72 years old, 75 years, imagine yourself, if you have a fracture, God forbid something happens to you, how are you going to go up? It doesn't make sense. But this shows the inexperience of the developer. That they were not aware. Did you know that building was, it took almost 1 year for that building to get an occupation certificate? Because they had to break it, make it couple of times. Right? So that in itself shows that, okay, fine, there is some misunderstanding going on over here. Flip point. The amenities on this building is on the 6th floor, correct? I was there a couple of weeks back at my friend's apartment over there. She has a 10-year-old son. All of their friends are a community. They came to the apartment. They were playing around. They were tucked away in one room. There were some 4 or 5 of them in one room. They played, and then everyone has their deadline. They had to go back to their apartment, their homes. So they all came together, and coincidentally, I also left at the same time, and I was seeing them. All of them came. They went to the 6th floor, and then all of them went to their own respective apartments. So they were all in a car-free zone. Now think of it from a parent's point of view. I'm going to feel safe that my child is not running around in front of any cars. No one is driving rashly.
Yeah.
And that is not there at the back of my mind. So there is a positive, there is also a negative. So these are things which are very, very important to a person who's paying crores worth of rupees for an apartment. Maybe the layman is not aware of it, but now after probably listening to this, they will be.
Sir, which are the most important areas that are still investable in Mumbai? Because on the outside, if you look at the rental yield, sir, pehle rental yield samjha do aap mujhe, so that we can set the premise for that, and then we can go towards which are the best areas to invest on the basis of the rental yield and the appreciation.
Rental yield is to be divided into 2 aspects. One is the residential rental yield as well as the commercial rental yield. You can't have a rental yield expectation in residential property, specifically in Mumbai.
Sir, what is rental yield?
Rental yield is you take your purchase price of the property, okay? divide that by the other way around. You take it's a ratio of your annual rent as compared to the amount you have paid for the property. That is the percentage that you are looking at when it comes to your rental yield.
If your rent is 1 lakh rupees per month, your annual rent will be 12 lakh rupees per annum. And if your apartment costs 1 crore rupees, it is 12 lakhs divided by 1 crore equal to 12%. ठीक है.
Although in Mumbai you cannot expect 12% rental yield, that is ridiculous. You will not get that currently in today's market or any time in the foreseeable future also. I don't see it at 12%. So that is in Mumbai for a residential property, your average rental yield annual is anywhere between 2 to 3%. This is if you are putting your property on a long-term rental. And when I say long-term rental, I'm talking about a 12-month leave and license agreement up to a 5-year, which is a 60-month leave and license agreement.
Okay. Sir, what are the most important parameters that you're supposed to gauge before you make an investment in Mumbai real estate?
There are two ways to look at it when it comes to investing in Mumbai real estate. One is rental yield. Second is capital appreciation. Whenever any client comes to me and says that I have an X amount of rupees and I want to invest it into Mumbai real estate, the first question is, are you looking for residential or are you looking for commercial? The second question is, are you looking for rental income or you're looking for capital appreciation? Then the third follow-up question is, what is your rental yield expectation and what is your capital expectation, capital appreciation expectation? It is very important to set all of these in advance so that you do not set yourself up for failure. That is one of the primary aspect.
Okay. And what is the rental yield in Mumbai versus other cities?
In Mumbai, for residential and commercial, talking about it separately, in Mumbai, for a residential property, you should be looking at anywhere between 2% to 3% rental yield on a long-term rental basis, on a leave and license long-term basis, which is anywhere from up to a maximum of 60 months. In commercial properties, an average individual who's looking to buy a property is looking at a bare minimum of 6% annual rental return.
6% annual rental return?
Bare minimum.
In Mumbai?
In Mumbai for commercial properties. Now in residential also you have to think that you have the short-term rental and you have the long-term rental.
Can you explain that, sir?
So short-term rental is long-term rental. I anyways mentioned that it's on a leave and license agreement. You are giving it to one family or one individual for a certain period of time. Short-term rentals is compared like a bed and breakfast model where people give their apartments out on a daily basis, on a nightly basis, where they give out the listings, where you get these vacation rentals. So people who are coming from outside of the city and they are maybe tourists or they are coming for some medical purposes and they need it for maybe a week, 10 days, maybe a month, 2 months. In that, I have seen the rental yield be anywhere between 4.5% going up to 7 to 8%. That depends on your acquisition cost. On an average, in such a scenario, people prefer to keep anywhere between a 6%, 5% threshold is what they have in their mind.
Does this Airbnb economy exist in Mumbai?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. In what tier does it exist?
All aspects. So there are, depending on one bedroom, studio apartments, they are just in the city itself, there is not a lot of apartments which are there in that category. Majority of the ones you'll probably see are the 2 beds, the 3 beds, the 4 beds. You have a lot of them in different pockets of the city.
Got it. Okay. Now let's come to which are the best areas to invest in Mumbai. Considering rental yield and capital appreciation, if I have to look at Mumbai as chunks of small places, which are the best chunks to invest in?
What would your appreciation expectation be? How much would you want your property to appreciate every year?
Sir, appreciation though, I will always have it. I will always have my appreciation to be unrealistic. My unrealistic appreciation would be
Give
like
me a figure.
10% year on year.
10% is not unrealistic.
Okay.
10% is not unrealistic. Saying that I want a 25%, 30% appreciation every year is unrealistic. Capital appreciation in real estate always is a long-term game. It is market-oriented, but it is also agnostic to the market on a certain level. I'll explain how this works. Where you invest and when you invest are of the utmost importance. It is difficult to pinpoint specific zones in the city. Right now, the city is going through a tremendous boom. All right. In my opinion, we are reaching a top end of the boom stage where there should be some stabilization coming in the market now.
Okay.
That being said, if you are a retail investor and you want to say your quantum would be 5 crores, best scenario for you to invest is in an pre-launch or an under construction property.
Okay.
Areas you can identify. How do you identify the areas? I'm not going to specifically point at any zip codes, but I can give you an entire roadmap as to how you can look at it from an investor's point of view.
Okay.
The first thing you have to see is who's the developer? What is the track record of the developer? How many times has the developer defaulted or delivered on time?
How do you figure this out?
It comes with experience. If you have the services of a developer, or if you have the services of a broker, then the broker will also be able to guide you and tell you that these are good reputed developers. Most of the publicly listed companies in the country, the developers, they have a decent track record. And because it's publicly listed, you can get their documents anywhere, anyhow. You can even call up your chartered accountant and that person will give you the entire P&L of the entire person. So you can start off with those. And many people are aware in the micro market who is a good developer within their micro market. So if you take the example of Borivali or Kandivali, there will be a certain set of developers. While you're walking within your neighborhood itself, you've probably seen the building being made in front of you. And people have started staying. You have your friends who stay in that building. They will come and tell you. So it's a lot of word of mouth. It's a lot of you seeing yourself. And obviously you have someone who's an outsider who's not invested in Mumbai. They will have to do their research work. They'll have to see the financial, the track record of the developer. You can go to the developer and ask them straight up, how many buildings have you made? How many buildings have you got with an occupation certificate? Most developers are open to let you know about their track record because they want to boast it. They want to let you know that we have a beautiful track record of delivering properties. That's the first aspect. The first year of your investment is usually wiped out in your taxes. If you're paying 6% of stamp duty, you're paying 30,000 rupees in registration, you are paying GST amount on that. So the first 11% of your 10% expectation is wiped out. Which apartment to buy, facing what, on what floor, all of those demographics have to be decided. Then, over a period of the building being constructed, as the building is getting constructed slab-wise, the price keeps on increasing. The developer also has a price cost. They have a feasibility report for every project that they are working in. They know at the beginning they're going to be selling at an X price, and when the building is ready, they're going to be selling at an X plus percentage price. So you ride that wave with the developer. You maintain the relationship with the developer. You ensure that you make your payments on time with the developer. And then at the time when the building is ready is when you exit. In today's date, you can look in a 3-year period 150% improvement in your investment.
150%? From
the time you invest in the beginning till the time you sell. This is on a very conservative. So if you put 5 crores in a property at the time of launch, you should be making 7.5 crores at the time of sale. So that is 50% on your 5 crores. So you should be able to sell that property at 7.5 crores.
Is that still happening in Mumbai right now?
Yeah, very much so.
That is insane. Which means, does this make real estate the most lucrative investment possible in Mumbai then?
It makes it one of the most real investments that you can do.
What do you mean by that real investment?
It is tangible. You can see it, you can feel it, you can touch it. Gold also nowadays, you can't keep 5 crores worth of gold in your house. You're buying some kind of a online transaction on gold. Your stocks, your bonds, your mutual funds, everything is intangible. Everything is on a screen. But here, this is something which is tangible. This wood is tangible.
Yeah.
It's something you can touch and feel. And tomorrow, if you don't get that 50%, let's catch a worst case scenario. If you are not able to get that price of 50% appreciation, you can still rent that property out. You can still hold on to it. You can still sustain with that rental income coming from the property. It's 2%, it's 3%. It's a residential property. It's commercial. You're looking at 6%. That means at 5 crores, you are making 30 lakh rupees rental annual at least.
So, sir, which are the best areas to invest in Mumbai?
Invest in your neighborhood.
What do you mean by that?
If you're from Andheri, invest somewhere in Andheri.
Okay.
Don't invest in far off place. Unless you are experienced. I always say that you know your micro market more than anyone else.
Yeah.
So if you are comfortable, you know that you can manage that property, you know that you can sell that property, you know that you can reach there in a minute's distance. That's how I would tell you to invest. Now, if you are looking at a land investment, then I would tell you go outside of the city. Go in a place wherever the infrastructure is building. You have to keep a close eye on where the government is spending money. You have to keep an eye on where the top developers are going, where the top entrepreneurs or the conglomerates and the honchos, the richest of the country are putting their money. They usually have more information than you and me as a common man have. So if you can't get access to that information, at least you can get access to the publicly available information and see where they are investing. And you can buy somewhere nearby. But once again, investment is in land, investment in real estate where the infrastructure is coming. Say a new airport or the new, this Atal Setu was built. Then you have seen the Kolaba stretch complete ceiling being made. We have the future within the city coming of the sea link. They're adding it in Bandra, they're adding it in Juhu, they're adding it in Malad. So all of these infrastructure, if you follow, you can invest around that area. Coming back to the land aspect, it takes time. All of these infrastructures that I've spoken about, which are even coming in the city, it takes a decade, 15 years for it to come. If you go to see the original sea link, which connected Bandra to Worli, was opened up back in 2009. The next one, the extension from Worli to Nepean Road and going forward all the way till there took another 13 years to be made. I think it opened up in 2023-24. So it took another 13 years to be made. So imagine the same set to happen again for the remaining aspects.
But once that is built, then the capital appreciation is exponential, right?
2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, it depends on your luck, depends on how you invested. If you have a sea-facing property, say in Mud Island, and your the exit and the entry point are maybe half a kilometer, 500 meters a kilometer away, then you will see exponential growth. If you are maybe 5 kilometers away, you might not see as much. Maybe you might see 3x. So it all depends. Now, maybe if that specific area, which is 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers away, suddenly becomes the home for the uber rich, then you will see 10x returns. So it is all very subjective. You cannot and you should not predict the future, but you can always make your calculated risks.
But yeah, when you said you should invest in your neighborhood, that makes so much sense because I have a very clear understanding of Andheri West as a locality because I've been staying here for a very long time and I understand this space better. And because my friends also stay here, we know what is the condition of which building, what is the, in fact, something as trivial as the pigeon problem is also quite known to me because I've been staying in Andheri West for a very long time. So that makes so much sense. And even when it comes to Malad West, we know which are the best buildings, which are which buildings are not doing very well, where there's a hygiene problem, where does the kachra wala truck stand, so you don't have to stay over there. So that makes it very, very clear. So you're saying that investing in the neighborhood is far better as compared to looking out for the next big jackpot across the city.
Yeah, you want your real estate to be in front of your eyes. Unless you are a seasoned investor, that's the only time. Now you're saying you know Andheri West. How long have you stayed in Andheri West?
Just 2 years.
Between Andheri West and Malad West, you spent 2 years.
Yeah.
And within this 24 months, you have got a very good idea about the real estate aspect. Because you're obviously naturally inquisitive to know. You walk around, you drive around, you look at the building, you look at the shops, you see the malls, you see this. Then you suddenly realize, okay, fine. Or Serenity, let's take an example of that. From a location aspect, the mall is opposite. It's on a main link road. You have commercial downstairs, you have residential upstairs. It's got multiple amenities. Anything and everything that you want, you can get down.
Correct.
What other positives that you can think from that property itself?
The amenities are in-house.
Now tell me one thing. If you were not able to afford a home in Aura Serenity, let's take an example you want to buy. It's considered to be a luxury, one of the most luxurious building and complexes in that area. If you were willing to compromise, within your budget you want a property, where would you want to go?
I would just take a 2 BHK apartment in the same building.
There you go. You don't want to move. Now say that 2 BHK apartment is not affordable for you. Where would you want to go?
Then I would probably go to Marina Enclave, which is far away from there.
Because of?
Because it is cheaper.
Do you get any views? Do you get any... Is your lifestyle changed?
Yes, drastically.
How?
That building, if I'm not wrong, doesn't have as many amenities as Oris does. Like you said, the mall is not close by. You'll have to go through a very big patch of traffic, which makes it extremely exhaustive. And you are far away from the city. So if you have any work to do in Andheri West, it will take you anywhere close to 40-45 minutes on a bad day. Even on a good day, it will take you 20 to 25 minutes. Anything that has to do with work is going to be in Andheri West or Bandra or Juhu. So it will take you the entire day. Even if you just take one trip, you will have exhausted your entire day. So it's just extremely time.
Social circle?
Social circle will also be a problem. I'm thinking about it only from a business standpoint because I'm assuming that that'll be the primary priority if I'm not able to afford a house. And if I'm not able to afford a house, then I will be in a circle which is also not able to afford the house. So I'm assuming they'll be in the same building.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you a scenario based on what you've mentioned to me. Say if I get you an apartment, maybe 300 meters away from Aura Serenity, which might not be, I'm not sure, Aura Serenity must be around 800, 750 square feet, 2-bedroom apartment. Say if I get you a 2-bedroom apartment, 200 to 300 to max 500 meters away, within the same micro market, within the same 5 lanes, a 1 kilometer radius of Aura Serenity, which is 20 years old, decent size building, 850 square feet, 2-bedroom apartment. You get 1 car parking. You are maybe it's a 7th floor or a 12th floor building. You are on the 5th, 6th, 7th floor, 2-bedroom apartment, 3 neighbors, 4 apartments on 1 floor, for a price which is 25% below what Aura Serenity is. Would you want to stay there or would you want to stay at Marina Enclave, which is very close to that mud island?
Stay in that place that you just mentioned.
Correct? You're willing to compromise? Doesn't that make more sense to be within the same neighborhood? You are investing in your neighborhood. The only difference is you're compromising. But you're compromising on what?
Compromising on actually nothing, because from all the amenities that you just mentioned and all the facilities that you mentioned, it doesn't look like a compromise at all. We're just compromising on the fact that it's just not Oris and it's a little far away. That's all.
So it's a mind frame.
Got it.
That's what I tell most of the people also.
So you're saying that if I have to invest in a particular neighborhood, I have to put myself into the shoes of the masses and try and understand what would they be willing to compromise and what would they value.
What is personal to you? What is important to you? You should come in with a checklist and you have to figure out what does that checklist work for you. Are the amenities important for you? then you have to pay more money. Are you willing to compromise on it? Are you willing to take a membership of a club? Goregaon Club is the Gymkhana is there. I forgot the name of the Gymkhana. It's diagonally opposite. Go become a member. It's affordable. So there are ways that you can compromise on it. Now, but this is a scenario where you are going to stay in that apartment. Now, if you were to invest in that apartment, you have an X amount of money. Then I would suggest you to go into a building which is coming under construction in that area, which is getting launched in that area. Horus Serenity, I do not have the exact prices, but I can tell you, I'll give you an example in Khar West. There was a property, this was launched just around 2021, 2022. This is on SV Road, corner building by one of the reputed developers of that area. Launched and sold a property at 50,000 rupees per square feet in Khar, Santa Cruz. All inclusive, which means the landed cost after deducting taxes would be anywhere between 43 to 44,000 rupees per square feet. The gentleman who bought it found value in it and he bought a 3,000 square feet house. Now this is in the dead of COVID. The minimum he's looking at is now, if he wants to sell it, the bare minimum at a penthouse with a private terrace and everything else is looking at 90,000 rupees per square feet. This is 3 years. The same scenario, no, not 3 years, 4 years. The same scenario can be replicated in Malad area also. It's just that the percentage will remain the same. The money that you're getting may change because the investment you're doing is lesser.
Got it. Understood. So, long story short, invest in your own neighborhood, look for a trusted developer, and if you invest at the time of launch and if you sell it during possession, you can expect a 50% uptick in your investment.
Follow the infrastructure.
Okay, got it. So, when it comes to infrastructure, I am deeply curious to understand what is the hype of Mumbai 3 and Navi Mumbai all about? Because one of my teammates stays in Navi Mumbai and he just can't stop talking about it. He's like, the area that you are staying is just so ancient. Navi Mumbai is extremely modern. It's very well planned. So what is the hype of Navi Mumbai all about? And is Navi Mumbai still a place where one must invest?
So, Navi Mumbai and Mumbai 3.0, dono alag hi duniya hai. Navi Mumbai is established now. The rate at Navi Mumbai is nothing less than the rate at some of the most prime suburbs of our own Mumbai city. It took, I would say, around 25 to 30 years to get to that level. Palm Beach Road and areas around Palm Beach Road, they're clean. It's a structured city. It's a planned city. The growth is managed by Sitco. Majority of it is managed by Sitco. The plots are owned by Sitco and then they auction it off to the developers to build it. So over the years, it has come up. Slowly by slowly. When something is built, then they open up another area. And that is built, then they open up another area. You can compare from a very minuscule aspect, you can compare Navi Mumbai to how BKC Bandra Kurla complex has come up, which is under MMRDA. Slowly by slowly, they've kind of opened it up. You see the structure of the building, it's nice and it's planned. So Navi Mumbai is an extremely planned city, properly zoned out. Roads are big. You have 3 lanes this side, 3 lanes on either side, so 6 lanes total for a arterial road. Now, our arterial road in Mumbai is SV Road, which is just like a machi market. It's just everyone is going anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
So your friend is talking about the standard of living.
Correct.
He's not going through the traffic. He's not going through the hustle. He's not worried about his car getting banged, scratched. He's talking about his grocery stores are nearby, easily accessible. He's talking about in the rains, the certain pockets of the city are not submerged, waist deep in water. So he's talking about all of those aspects. You want to compare that to Mumbai also, there's a huge difference between South Mumbai and North Mumbai. The moment you cross the ceiling from Bandra, you are greeted by the beauty of traffic.
Correct.
But till that time, the traffic is free flowing. It's like you are in a different zone. So that is unplanned growth. So your colleague or your friend was talking about that. People prefer to rather travel. Those who do not have their daily business in Mumbai, they would rather stay there and come once a week, twice a week to Mumbai, deal with all of that, and then go back again to their peace. So coming to my friend, he had 2 apartments. One apartment, Andheri, Warsaw. Second apartment, the Warsaw apartment, 2-bedroom apartment. The second apartment, 4-bedroom apartment in Palm Beach, maybe 300 meters away from Palm Beach Road, right next to the Navi Mumbai Municipal Corporation. That junction is where he has his apartment. He's got 2 3-bedroom apartments combined together. So he has a beautiful 4-bedroom apartment. They sold that 2-bedroom apartment for roughly about 2.5, 2.75 crores in Warsaw. And then they upgraded with Navi Mumbai. Because they had no business in Mumbai. Nothing to do with Mumbai. They love the lifestyle. They love the flexibility. They love the aspect that the new airport is coming over there. It might take time. Everybody understands. But the connectivity to Navi Mumbai is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's only getting better with the Atal Setu, with the airport coming and all the other infrastructures which are happening.
So would you recommend investing in Navi Mumbai right now?
Navi Mumbai at this point of time is also saturated. You have to follow the same formula which I mentioned for Mumbai. Invest in pre-launches, new launches, and then exit later on. If you get an opportunity to buy land at the right price, jump on it. Navi Mumbai is what the future of Mumbai is. Our dearest Chief Minister, I made a video on this also, our dearest Chief Minister on one of the national televisions had very clearly mentioned, Mumbai's time is over. We need a new plan structure, Mumbai 3.0. I don't think he meant that, Mumbai is dead, it's no longer going to be the financial capital. That's going to be very difficult to give up. But what he was saying is that there is a need for Mumbai to also expand.
Yeah.
And going back to our New York and Mumbai analogy, if you go to see you have New York and you have the surrounding cities which do well just because of New York. You have the northern part of Jersey, then you have the northern part of the state of New York. The surrounding periphery area, they do very well. In fact, even if you go to see 90 miles south, you have the city of Philadelphia, which does very well because of New York's market. So Mumbai 3.0 is now at a very nascent stage. You can invest over there. The potential is going to be good 2.5, 3 decades later on. It's someone your age. If I was to invest, then my child is going to be the one who's going to see the benefit of all of this. You will get the land, but you have to be very particular about who you're buying your land from because there is a lot of fraud that is happening over there. They will point something to you. There are individual brokers who will be representing themselves as an owner. Like that old movie which was there. You can compare it to like Bunty Bubbly and you can compare it to Khosla Ka Ghosla, these kind of movies. Where there is a lot of fraud which is happening. You have to be very careful on the investment aspect. The government is specifically identifying certain areas and there is a sort of restriction on the sale of the property. So you have to be very, very, very careful and make sure that your legal due diligence is at par. The investment aspect, it is a brilliant opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for anyone and everyone who has the potential to buy.
What do you mean by potential to buy, sir? What should be the budget?
It is still cheap over there. Inexpensive should be the right word. You are still looking at anywhere between, 800 rupees, 1000 rupees per square feet is what you're looking at. There are people who are trying to sell it at 200 rupees per square feet.
No, I mean, what should be my corpus to make a sizable investment?
10 lakh rupees.
10 lakh rupees?
Yeah.
Okay.
At 10
what
lakh,
can I get for 10 lakh rupees in Mumbai 3?
You can get around a 5,000 square feet land parcel, which is 500 square yards.
Wow. 5,000 square feet.
Yeah. But then once again, I have to, and I'm going to emphasize on this.
Provided you can wait for 2.5 decades.
Yeah, you have to wait at least for 2 decades. You have to wait for the infrastructure to be completed, and you have to get your legal due diligence done to the T. Because I cannot emphasize the number of frauds that are happening over there.
Perfect. Sir, I want to first set the premise to try and understand what is the difference between Mumbai, Mumbai 3 and Navi Mumbai, so that we can go deeper into Mumbai 3 and deeper into Navi Mumbai. So can you please help me understand Mumbai versus Navi Mumbai versus Mumbai 3?
Mumbai is the original city, there since the time of colonial rule. You have Mumbai, which is grown linear. You have South Mumbai, you have Colaba, 7 islands. We all are aware of the history of our city. If not, please Google it. The islands were combined together, growth happened, linear. You had the Western Railway, then you had the Central Railway, you have all the railway lines which are connecting north to south. You start with one end, Colaba Churchgate, and then you go all the way until Borivali. That is how it goes. First developed southern part of Mumbai, which is what we call Sobo, up to Mahim. Then came Bandra to Andheri to Borivali. That is the entire linear growth in one single line, which happened in the western suburbs. You have also the central line. You also have the eastern part and the western part of the railway tracks, which are once again linear. That is Mumbai. Growth happened. The government realized that this is getting overpopulated. We need to grow. Mumbai can't go towards the sea, so Mumbai went more towards the northern end, more towards the western end, eastern end. So growth happened towards Navi Mumbai. This must have happened, I would say, back in the 80s, back in the 90s, and people started migrating over there. Now Navi Mumbai is also getting to some level of saturation. The land parcels are reducing. So the government has gone to Mumbai 3.0, which is on the other side of the MTHL, the Trans Harbour Link Road Atal Setu.
Which is a further extension to Navi Mumbai.
Correct. It is an untouched, untapped, complete green land which is mostly used by farmers. There's a lot of agricultural land over there, and the government is now wanting to grow in that direction. That is the only way that Mumbai can grow. They are thinking of building data centers, cities, commercial zones, transportation hubs. Everything is all building towards your JNPT, which is your Port Trust, Jawaharlal Nehru Port Trust. You have Panvel area, and then you have your Navi Mumbai stretch. So it is like a big circle, but growing in straight lines. That is the basic idea of the geography of Mumbai and Navi Mumbai and Mumbai 3.0. Now, at what timelines are these three regions at? Mumbai is at its peak. It is in its current scenario from South Mumbai all the way up to Borivali. Land parcels do not exist anymore. They might be existing in a very simple, in patches. That is how Mumbai, land parcels in Mumbai are there. Majority of them are in some sort of dispute. So they are not even able to be bought or sold because of some sort of a dispute going. Just a handful of them may be clean, clear title, which go at exorbitant prices, which you see in the newspaper that they've been sold for 10 lakh rupees, 15 lakh rupees, 200 crores, 300, 500, X amount of crores. Navi Mumbai still has land parcels because it's a controlled supply by CIDCO. Navi Mumbai is still growing. It is at a stage that I can compare Mumbai to be anywhere between I would say the Borivali as well as the northern part of Mumbai to be 20 to 25 years back.
Okay.
Buildings are still being made. Opportunities are still there. Some land parcels are still there. They are still going in a few tens of crores, depending on the size of the land. The structure is very planned. So the lifestyle is better as compared to when you compare it to Mumbai, and especially northern part of Mumbai. So you can compare Navi Mumbai to be in the late 90s, early 2000s of Mumbai. Now coming to Mumbai 3.0. For you to understand at what stage of real estate is Mumbai 3.0 in, you will have to time travel back to the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. Mostly in the 70s and 80s of Mumbai and the region of northern part of Mumbai, the suburbs of Bandra up to Andheri. During the 70s and the 80s, these were what we call khadis. Bandra East, which is currently BKC, was full of mangroves. There used to be an open air theatre, drive-in theatre, which is now being converted by the Geo Center. But that's what used to be there originally. If you were to cross and go to Sion or to Dharavi, you used to smell. You used to have a peculiar smell that people used to have. Nobody wanted to be there. Not a single soul wanted to be there. Mumbai 3.0 is what that region was back in the day. So you are time traveling 50 years back and have an opportunity to invest in a land in a place like Santa Cruz, Khar, Bandra, Juhu, where you could have got 1,000 square yard plot for 5 lakh rupees.
Wow. Golden
That-
opportunity.
That is what you are looking at in Mumbai 3.0. So this should put things in perspective to the general audience, to the genuine investor. What are they looking at?
Which means if somebody has anywhere between 10 to 25 lakhs, they should not invest in Mumbai. They should not invest in Navi Mumbai. They should think about investing in Mumbai 3.
Someone has 10 to 25 lakhs, they have no other option but to invest in Mumbai 3.0 because in Navi Mumbai, they cannot buy anything. You need at least a one-bedroom apartment of around 450 square feet in Navi Mumbai will cost you 1.2 to 1.35 crores.
Got it. सर इसको ना हम थोड़ा कॉन्टेक्स्ट में डाल देते हैं कि लेट्स टॉक अबाउट अ वन बेडरूम अपार्टमेंट इन मुंबई इन 3 parts.
Okay.
Okay, South Mumbai,
Huh.
somewhere in Andheri, and then the rest of the
I'll
place.
split it up for you in 3 different parts. I will give you Navi Mumbai example. I will give you 3.0.
Okay, so 1 BHK for all these categories. Let's divide Mumbai into 3 parts because it's very nuanced. Navi Mumbai, I don't know, so I'll put it into just one category and Mumbai 3 into one category.
Check it out.
So that people have a clear idea on what exactly is the difference between Mumbai and Mumbai 3.
Let's take the city of Mumbai once again. Navi Mumbai and Mumbai 3.0. Let's take these 3 examples. Now, Mumbai is divided into multiple zones. But for the sake of brevity, let's just keep a 1 BHK apartment, say a 1-bedroom apartment you are wanting to buy. What would the cost of a 1-bedroom apartment be in South Mumbai? On an average, you are looking at a bare minimum of around 2.5, 2.75 crores for an apartment that you would not want to pay even 25 lakh rupees. This will be an apartment which is on a ground floor, measuring roughly about 450 square feet, 420 odd square feet, probably without a car parking, mosquito-ridden, interiors which are back in the 1980s. So you will end up spending at least another 25 to 30 lakhs just to renovate that. And you probably do not want to even buy that apartment. Going into the luxury aspect of 1 bedroom, say if you have a 1-bedroom apartment on Breach Candy, which is a premium location in Mumbai, no sea facing, no sea view, none whatsoever, your bare minimum value should be anywhere between 3.25 to 3.75 crores.
For a 1 BHK.
For a 1-bedroom apartment, once again 400 square feet. Now, if that same 1 bedroom is transported to Bandra, you are on the 16th floor. There is a building called Kanti Apartments in Bandra, which is, I think, around 40 years old. It's a tall building on the top of Mount Mary Church, around that area. A 1-bedroom apartment is a relatively larger size of 600 square feet, which has been converted by the people into 2 bedrooms, technically like a 1.5 bedroom. As per today's standards, you have a sea view. You're looking at a bare minimum of 75,000 rupees per square feet, which brings it above 4 crores, 4.25 crores.
Got it.
That is your Mumbai specific area. Now, if you travel further up north, more towards the Malad, Kandivali, Borivali is what nowadays the youth call it as Makabo area. That area you can get on the highway a one-bedroom apartment at anywhere between 30,000 to 35,000 rupees, anywhere between 25 to 35,000 rupees per square feet. So you could get it for anywhere between 85 lakhs to 1.1 crore. That is a one-bedroom apartment. Your minimum quantum of investment when it comes to the city of Mumbai has to be at least 1 crore, without which you are nowhere in standing. Better to rent.
Got it.
The Navi Mumbai aspect. The last transaction that we did was a couple of years back in Navi Mumbai. It was a one-bedroom apartment for 1.24 crores. It was around 440 square feet of carpet area. This was also just around the Palm Beach Road. So this will again give you a quantum of idea that Navi Mumbai is comparable to the Malad, Kandivali, Borivali spaces. However, you do get better amenities, you get better buildings, you get better infrastructure when it comes to the quality of purchase. Coming to Mumbai 3.0 now. This is where the dynamic shift happens. At 10 to 25 lakh rupees, what you mentioned, at 10 lakh rupees, you can get a 5,000 square feet land in proper Mumbai 3.0. 25 lakh rupees can get you 2.5 times more. So around 2,000 square yard, which is roughly about 20,000 square feet. I compare Mumbai 3.0, like I said, to the 70s and 80s of North Mumbai, where you get amazing value for money. Now, if you transport yourself to the 1970s and the early 1980s and the mid 1980s, you could have bought a piece of land in Juhu around 1,000 square yards, 700 square yards, from 5 lakhs to 7.5 lakh rupees, which in today's date, in JVPD scheme, neighbors with your top Bollywood stars, is going at anywhere between 8.5 lakhs per square yard to 10 lakh rupees per square yard. I have a property which we were working on, 1005 square yards. The owner is asking 125 crores.
Okay.
125 crores. Now, from a financial terms, your audience, a lot of your audience is from the financial industry. They are young youth generation. From what I gather, the financial gurus say that your money is supposed to double every 5 years. Am I right? Am I wrong?
If it doubles, it's great.
If it doubles. 8 years?
8 years is good.
8 years is good. So 50 into 4 into 8 is
32.
32 years. 5 into 8 is 40. So 6x is what you're looking at. Now you calculate 1980. Every decade, 4 decades, you are doubling your money. 8 years, you are doubling your money. From 5 lakh rupees to get to 125 crores, if anyone can do the math, figure it out how much X you are at.
That's a lot more.
That is what the power of real estate is. And that is what the power of Mumbai 3.0 is when done right. Always also remember, governments change, policies change. If these policies continue and they are in a trajectory which is being promised by the government, then this is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Because there's also a very large possibility that this might also become the next Lavasa, right? Because Lavasa was also touted to be the next big thing, but then now it's nowhere. So you're saying that the risk with Mumbai 3 is that with the changing government and with the changing government policies, if the direction shifts, then there is a possibility that your investment might vanish.
What does Mumbai 3.0 have to fall back on?
Mumbai. That's a lot. So you're saying that the probability of Mumbai 3 failing is very, very minuscule.
It is very less. That is what you call calculated
No
risk.
government would be stupid enough to not develop it because the city is anyways being saturated, right?
That is the mind frame. That is the mind frame of the government. And if the policies which have been implemented have been approved and have been ratified, then the chances of failure are less. It's just that the time taken will be longer. That is why I keep on saying that do not fall within the trap of buy land today and make money tomorrow. Double your money tomorrow. If anyone is telling you that, then they are lying to you straight on your face, and you should very politely say thank you very much for your information and walk away.
Got it. So, would you recommend buying a land in Mumbai 3 or an apartment in Mumbai 3?
Neighborhood. Your investment is your money. If you buy land in 3.0, you have disposable income which you can burn. You have 10 to 25 lakh rupees which you take and you say, okay, this is a pile of cash which is 10 to 25 lakh rupees. If I take a matchstick and I burn it, then it's not going to make a difference in my life. Go to Mumbai 3.0. If that 10 to 25 lakhs is your life savings, please don't do anything.
Sir, the price point that you just mentioned, which is 3 to 3.7 crores in South Mumbai, where you'll get a 1 BHK apartment, which is not so desirable. My question is, with such pathetic facilities, why are people still buying these apartments? Or are people buying these apartments?
People are buying all kinds of apartments.
But why?
See, you yourself said, I'm willing to compromise because I want to stay close to my neighborhood. I want to stay close to my friends. It's because you have an option, but you're compromising on that option. The next best option for you to go is further out, which you are okay to compromise on this. There is similar mind frame with the people also. They want to be close to their family. They want to be close to their social network. They want to be able to take their child to a school which he or she has been going for the last 7-8 years. They don't want to uproot that child. If that is what is going to buy them, then they will make their piece of heaven in that real estate, in that apartment.
Because my hypothesis was that people are buying these apartments with the hope that someday they'll be up for redevelopment.
That is an opportunity. Redevelopment is an opportunity, and that has been in the books of the play by many people who are making purchases, hoping that this will give them from a 1-bedroom to a larger 1.5-bedroom or maybe a 2-bedroom apartment. So that does play in their mind. But once again, it's a long-term game. See, you are looking at multiple people in the building. So there are 20 apartments, say, in a building. There are 20 families, 4 people in a family. That's 80 individuals, 80 different minds. Then on top of that, you are multiplying that with their immediate family. So that goes into 4x. So you're looking at 320 people for one set of building. It happens. When the feasibility is there, when the money is to be made, the developers are interested, and it does happen. And the advantage is also there for the buyer. However, someone who's looking to purchase for their own personal use is not thinking from the redevelopment aspect. That is an ancillary benefit that they may or may not get in the future. What they are looking at for that property, for that apartment, is how can they live over there? How can they maintain the lifestyle? How can they compromise yet maintain it? So that is what they are looking at. You also have to understand that even if it is a 1-bedroom apartment which is not desirable and it is completely run down, you can still go inside, renovate it, and make it a nice apartment. You will still see benefit in that. You will see that you are spending your time positively, you're working on it. You can get your Vastu consultants, you can get your other interior designers and make it beautiful. Just that at that point of time, that property is not being maintained by the existing owner. Very simple example. At, what is that road that goes up towards Valkeshwar? There is a road which goes up to Valkeshwar. There was a 1-bedroom apartment which we were selling. It was on the ground floor. Technically, it was a basement because it was on a slope. So here you are, a 1-bedroom apartment. It was around 420, 450 square feet. What you're looking outside the window was the wall. The wall, that a stone wall. And on top of that was the garden area. So you have a green as well as a wall area. There were mosquitoes. While I was shooting the property also, there were mosquitoes which were there. But I did not see what is. I saw what can it be. Anyone coming in can easily renovate that apartment, make it into a beautiful one-bedroom space at prime location. That property at 2.4, 2.5 crores, which was neglected by the current owner, could be sold for anywhere between 2.25 to 2.35 crores. Spend a good 20 lakhs on it, get nice windows, get nice mosquito nets. Your mosquito problem is gone. You put natural daylight, it's opened up. Internally, you open up the kitchen, you renovate the kitchen with the cabinets with a nice modern standard. There were two separate, it had a toilet separate and a shower separate. It was that ancient. You combine that, you can make it into a 1.5 bathroom. You can keep the toilet separate. You can have a sink separate. You could have attached the bedroom along with one of the bathrooms. So there was a lot of potential that you could do it. And suddenly by doing all of that, you are making almost 90,000 rupees monthly rent on a property which you paid 2.25 lakhs, 2.35 lakhs. And you can flip that property also. Maybe you might not make 2x, 3x, but in 6 months, you will make maybe 10, 20%, 30% by spending 10, 15 lakhs.
So the capital appreciation still is happening for these apartments which are 1 BHK costing 3.7 crores with mosquitoes.
2.7, 2.5 crores. Yes. You can take that 2.5 crore property, selling at purchasing at say 2.3, spending 15 lakhs, your corpus, your capital investment is say 2.5, 2.6. You can still sell it at 3 crores, 2.75 crores in a span of 6 months, 10%, 15%, 20%. You can still make money on that. Now, coming to the redevelopment aspect, if that same apartment, because of the desirable location, comes on redevelopment, you go from the ground floor to say even the first or the second floor. Because of that property's location, from the first floor itself, you have views of the sea. You have just completely transformed from a wall view to a sea view. That itself is going to give you a 30% to 25% appreciation. Brand new building, new amenities, everything clean, done. Suddenly you are 2x your price. You are at the market price of that area, which is anywhere between 90,000 rupees per square feet going to 1.5 lakh rupees per square feet, or even 1.93 lakh rupees per square feet, because that is now the standard which is set.
Sir, how exactly does redevelopment work? Because a lot of people have this thesis that we will hold on to our apartment because it will get into redevelopment and that will help us make a lot of money. So we first want to understand how does redevelopment work, and then try and address this notion whether all properties can be redeveloped or not. If not, then what is the problem? Because as a citizen of this city, the one question that I'm deeply curious about is that if this city is not very well planned, if the quality of life is going down with the number of people increasing in the city, it demands for redevelopment. So why aren't we redeveloping fast enough? So for that, I first want to set the premise about what exactly is redevelopment and then navigate through these notions and challenges that we have in the city.
Say, for example, there is a building which has 10 individuals who are staying over there, 10 families are staying, 10 apartments are there. It is a 25 to 40-year-old building and it needs heavy repairs. A society approaches a developer and says that please come in, break this building down, make a new building, and we will come back and stay over here. The developer says yes. He goes through the financial dynamics, the feasibility of the project, says that he can make money. He says, okay, I will take up your project. He breaks the old building down. He takes the existing society members, pays for their rent, and he relocates them for the time of the duration of constructing the new building on that old society plot. Once the building is done, the old society members come back and they get a brand new building. Old society members get some additional space from what they have existing. The developer gets additional apartments to sell so that he can recover his principal as well as make profits. This is the basic and simple dynamics of redevelopment, where there is a win for the developer, he makes money, and a win for the society where they get an absolutely completely new, modern, up to standards apartment building.
Got it. So if a person's house goes into redevelopment, how much return can this person expect?
It depends on the location. It depends on the additional space that they are going to get from the developer. It depends on multiple other factors. What amenities the building is going to give, what are the better facilities that the building is going to be, how modern the building is. If you go to see from money to money aspect, let's take a 1-bedroom apartment 400 square feet, which is 50,000 rupees per square feet, which comes to 2 crore value. This is the existing rate of a building which is 40 years old. Now, say if you get 50% additional space, just hypothetically for calculation ease, you go from 400 square feet to 600 square feet. If you keep the same rate, which is for a 40-year-old building, at 50,000 rupees per square feet, you are going 200 square feet additional space. So you are at least 1 crore in positive, which is 50% from the current value. From 2 crores, you go to 3 crores. That is almost 50% value addition. So you have that much benefit. Now, because the building is new, the developer is not going to be selling at a price of a 40-year-old building. The developer will be selling it at an existing current valuation of the property. So say if the price is 50,000 and currently in that location, because of the new building, new amenities, new costs, new expenses, the price is at 75,000 rupees. You can now calculate your 400 square feet apartment valued at 2 crores for a 40-year-old building to 600 square feet at 75,000 rupees per square feet. This is the simplest and the most easiest way for you to calculate the amount of money that you are going to get from the construction time.
Got it. So it could be, so the property value could go up from 2 crores to anywhere between 4.5 to 5 crores.
Correct.
Got it. So a lot of people have this notion and they hold on to their apartments thinking that our building will go into redevelopment. Is it that feasible? Like, is it that simple that if an apartment is old enough, it will get into redevelopment?
Not every property, every building is feasible. What is feasibility? Feasibility is done by the developer. How much money can that developer make out of that project? Back in the day, a developer, if they were even making 20% net profit, they would take up the project. Nowadays, with the expenses being so high, it is very difficult to make any money if there is any variations in the law or if there is any stoppage of work. Their 20% is wiped off immediately. Coming to the individual, the building owner's aspect. If your project, I would say almost 50% of the buildings which are there in Mumbai are not feasible because of the current laws and the government regulations which are there.
Okay.
Holding on to a property which is not feasible is foolish. The society themselves can do a feasibility report by hiring a third party and understanding what should be the expectations and what they should be getting. Once you have that basic idea, you can go in the market and you can pitch that feasibility report to different developers. If your building is not feasible, then right there and then you all know that this is not going to work out.
Sir, from redevelopment, the one thing that comes to my mind is the raging debate about slum redevelopment in Mumbai. A, is it really solvable? B, if yes, how do we make sure that all parties benefit from it?
Currently, the slum dwellers, if anyone has a person working, a housemaid working, you will understand that they do not have toilets within their apartment. The drainage system within the slum area is not really ideal. It is where a lot of the diseases are there, malaria, dengue. There are a lot of issues which are there. The SRA, the Slum Rehabilitation Association, they give a mandate to a developer to redevelop that slum. The developer comes in, the developer makes a vertical building. He gives each and every individual of that slum an apartment of, say, around 300 square feet. The washroom is attached inside. They have electricity. They have proper facilities. They have an elevator. They have a small little parking space for themselves. So all of these things improves the life of the slum dweller. Now suddenly they are into a society. They are collecting maintenance. Their bills are officials. Everything is official. They have the capacity to either stay there or take that property and rent it out to someone else and move to their hometown. They have a better life. This clears up the land, the flat land, which goes into a certain portion, and then the rest of the land is completely open for development. This is where the developer comes in and makes money on the projects that he sells.
Sir, when do you think the slum problem in Mumbai will be solved?
Can you answer the day you are going to die?
In about 60 years.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm more likely to be sure. I'm more likely to be right. So I'm just asking you an estimate as to when do you think it'll be solved in the first place? Because, sir, the reason why I'm asking this question is because we are looking at adding the next trillion more easily than our previous trillion. And if we consider our rate of growth, India needs more space and Mumbai needs more space because we generate about $380 billion in Mumbai. So if all the slums are cleared and we have more land, we have the opportunity to take that GDP from 380-90 billion to about 600-700 billion, probably a trillion. So there's a huge opportunity that's out there. So I'm just trying to understand, just out of curiosity, as to when do you think the slum problem of Mumbai can be solved?
It's a work in progress. We are a new democracy. We are 75 years into growth. We have our own failures. We have our own successes. To consider that in such a short period of time, we are now in the top 5 economies of the world. From where 20 years ago, the common idea was there are bullock carts on the street of Mumbai. So it takes time. We are densely populated city, extremely populated country, which is one of our positives and yet one of our negatives. Our internal consumption is tremendous. But then that also brings about a whole bunch of other problems.
Correct.
To put a number or put a timeline to something which is so complex would be wrong on my part. I would say, and I would hope that it would happen in my lifetime, but that would be wishful thinking, considering that every project takes 4 acres, 5 acres of land, 10 acres of land. If it takes one entire lifetime, 20-25 years, say you're 25 years old, a 4-acre land has been just sanctioned for redevelopment, which is a slum. It takes around 20 years to build. You are now 45 years old. That's half your life. From a mid-20s who probably is having a thought that I'm 25 years old and I'm growing old, to now envision yourself at 45-year-old with 2 children, your father is now old and he's using your help to walk around. Just imagine that. That is what you're looking at for one project. And here in Mumbai, you have slums at every corner. So it is going to take time. How much time? Only a fool will put a number, and I don't think I'm a fool.
So the last subject that I want to touch upon is flipping and the economics of flipping. Because again, this seems to be a very, very lucrative subject where you can make a lot of money in real estate. So sir, can you please help me understand what exactly is house flipping and how can somebody maximize their returns using flipping?
You have to define flipping for me. There is a definition of flipping as per the Western world, and there is a definition of flipping as per a normal audience.
Normal audience.
So normal audience flipping is, there are 2 ways you can look at it. One is, once again, you get into a pre-launch property. You buy the property with the developer at a price which is in a nascent stage. You go through the journey of the developer along with yourself, and when the building is ready, you sell the property. That is the developer style of flipping. Okay? Where you are an investor, you are riding the wave along with the developer. The second type of flipping is you take a property which is dilapidated, the worst property in the best neighborhood, and you renovate it, you fix it, you stage it, you bring it out in the market, and then you sell it at an X plus percentage profit.
Got it.
These are the 2 ways.
So let's look at the first scenario, which is you ride the wave with the developer. So can you help me understand, with minimum capital, how can I maximize my returns? Let's talk about an area like Andheri West.
So minimum capital that you need to invest in Andheri West is, for a 1 bedroom, you're looking at around 1.35 to 1.5 crores bare basic price.
Okay, let's take 1.5 crores.
1.5 crores. Flipping in a 1 bedroom is not recommended. You go into a 2 bedroom or a 3 bedroom apartment because that's where majority of the demand is. That's where majority of the people are buying. That's where families are, and that's where you have combined income of families.
Got it.
Where the husband and the wife are making money together.
Got it. Let's take a 3 BHK apartment.
So you have a 3 bedroom apartment in Andheri. You can look at an average price of around 3.5 crores. All right. You have to have a down payment of at least 30% ready with you, which is money which is going to be blocked in real estate. And once again, real estate is not a liquid asset. It is an illiquid asset. So you come into the developer, You tell the developer that you are asking, say, 3.5 crores for the property at this point of time, in the hope that you will be selling this property for at least 5 crores, where you get 50% return over a period of 3 to 5 years through the journey of the property. You have to negotiate at least 10 to 15% with the developer from the beginning itself. So you recover your first year's income, your returns, which is going to go in your taxes, 11% to 15%. You have to negotiate that with the developer already in advance.
Got it.
So something which is at 3.5 crores, you have to get it at 3 crores. Then you have to pay the money over a period of 3 years as per the progress of the project. Now, when you are selling it, there are two ways you can sell it. One is you take the property and put it into the pool of the developers and you ask the developer, please sell this for me also. The second way is you independently try to sell it. The pricing that you have to be has to be at par with what the developer is selling or slightly less than what the developer is selling. Considering that the developer still has any properties left for sale at that point of time. If the developer doesn't have any properties to sell at that point of time, then you are sitting on a golden pot. If the building is good, the demand is good, then you can probably demand a good hefty premium on your price also. And you have a base price to go off. Say if the developer at that point of time is selling the 3.5 crores property for 5 crores, then you know that you cannot sell and you should not sell below 5 crores.
Got it. Understood. So how would the math work out? Let's say I negotiate with the developer to bring him down from 3.5 crores to 3 crores. 30% will be my capital. So I'll put in 1 crore rupees, rest will be loan.
Correct.
So can you walk me through the economics of it?
The loan you will get at around 8%. EMIs, your monthly loan payments is disbursed on the amount of money that has been disbursed to the developer. So as and when more and more money is going to go to the developer, more and more money is going to go from your EMI. Now, if you are thinking of taking a loan, then you have to understand that you are too invested into the property. This is going to go into your discretionary income, into your savings. I would not recommend you to invest into a property if you do not have a corpus ready. If you are planning to take a loan, then try to go into some sort of a subvention scheme. A subvention scheme is where you get a payment plan, which is staggered over a period of time. This could be a certain percentage paid in one shot in 1 year, or this could be a certain percentage paid now and certain percentage paid at the time of the possession of the property, at the time of when the building is done.
Can you explain this in this context with an example and number, sir?
So say if your property is say 1 crore, the developers sometimes themselves give you a payment plan. They will say pay 20% now, register your property and pay 80% at the time of possession. Don't pay me anything. Now, if you are getting into something of that sort, your chances of flipping the property at the end is more because you are only invested of up to 20%, 30% or 40%, max 50%. They can't take more than certain amount as per RERA rules anyways. So you can sit down with the developer and negotiate this aspect. The more money you give as a down payment to the developer at an early stage, the more inclined he is to give you a discount. So this is an extremely important bargaining tool from the buyer's aspect. And then you can also tell them that I will pay you the balance at the end. Now, if the developer, there is a thin line that you have to walk in here. A developer which has a reputation, who will give you the return at the end of the money that you want, will probably have enough money in the bank that he will not want to sell at a cheaper price. So there you have to sit down and negotiate strongly. You have to incentivize the developer to take that additional money so that you are also not putting in too much money and at the same time you are not too much invested into the property.
How do I incentivize the developer?
You can be a part of the developer's investment journey for a longer period of time. He doesn't have just one project. He has multiple projects. You can get into a agreement with the developer saying that I will be an investor with you for a certain period of time for 5 years, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. If you are wanting to do this on a long-term basis, then this is one way that you can tell the developer, if you make me money and if we are doing this successfully, then I will reinvest the money that I'm selling once the building is done with you only. The principal I will reinvest with you, and whatever is the additional that I get, my profits, I can kind of invest maybe in 2 projects with you. Maybe I can take a little bit of that, invest it into the markets, play around with it a little bit, and see that my certain part of my profits is liquid and certain part of my profit I can reinvest with you. So the developer also has an incentive. I have an investor ready in my pool of people who I can pitch the property at the time of launch.
Got it. Understood. So, in the context of this 3 crore property, 1 crore is what I will put from my pocket. The rest of it, you're saying that if you have a corpus, you should not take a loan?
Ideally, do not take a loan. Try to negotiate on the payment terms.
Got it. So, for this 3 crore property, what would be the ideal payment term that I should come to?
I would say pay 50% now and 50% at the time of possession.
That's it.
Simple. I will give you 1.5 crores right now, and I will give you 1.5 crores at the time of possession. You can also negotiate with the developer and say that I'll give you 1.5 crores. If you want to put, the developer will ask you more money. He will say, if I'm locking myself in for such a long period of time, I need more money. So as much as you can give, as long as the developer is reputed and everything falls within the RERA guidelines, within the government guidelines, you continue with the developer. So this is how you incentivize the developer so that you also are not, but then once again, you need to have that much amount of corpus. If you have that much amount of money, you can sit down and negotiate with them. This is only in the case of an under construction project. This cannot be done in a ready to move in because he's anyway sitting on gold.
In case if I don't have 1.5 crores to pay upfront and I have to go with the loan payment plan, let's say I take 1 crore out of my corpus, pay to the builder, and then I have to take a loan. Then what should be my ideal structure?
Be ready to compromise.
As in what, sir?
See, in Mumbai, people, for real estate, in Mumbai, the mantra usually that people use is location, location, location. I have been saying this from day one to all of my clients, all of my sellers, everyone I say. The mantra for Mumbai real estate is compromise, compromise, compromise.
Okay.
You have to compromise with what your wallet can buy you. So if you are in a situation where you are planning to take a loan, you are setting yourself up for failure. I myself don't believe in loans. At 8.5% interest with a 2 to 3% return, why do you want to pay 5 to 5.5% out of your own pocket? Almost 6 to 5.5% out of your own pocket makes no sense. There is no financial sensibility to that. So compromise. Go into those areas which are now upcoming. Going back to the original part, you have those infrastructure in Mumbai which is coming up the ceiling. Go to that side, put your money over there and forget about it for the next decade.
Which are the top 3 infrastructural developments that you would put a finger to and say, here's where the next big jackpot of real estate would develop?
In Mumbai, outside Mumbai?
In Mumbai.
In Mumbai, every entry and exit point for the sea-link, every entry and exit point of the Atal Setu, every entry and exit point 500 meters away of the metro. This pretty much sums up the entire scenario for the Mumbai city.
Yeah. Understood, sir. Sir, what are the most important things that one has to consider before buying a residential property in Mumbai?
Resale property or primary market, which is the under construction?
Let's start with under construction and then let's go to resale.
Okay. The first and foremost is the track record of the developer. You have to ensure that the developer has been delivering his projects on time or roughly about on the same time. How many buildings have they made? What is the portfolio of the buildings that they have made? What locations have they made the building in? You have to see all of that. One is very primary aspect. You can even ask the developer to give him a list of all the buildings that they have made. They will gladly give it to you because they want to boast about their reputation. Micro market developers will be within a certain section. Then you have the local market areas, those who are within the Mumbai region. They will also have multiple projects. You've probably driven past them and seen them multiple times that this building is ready and it looks nice. Then you have the state level and then you have the India level. So you can always see all of these developers. There are publicly listed developers, there are local developers. You can choose between them. The third aspect is where you go into the RERA website. Every developer by law has to register his property, his project for sale. Before he goes for sale, he has to register it with Maharashtra Real Estate Authority, MahaRERA. They give you a QR code. You can scan that QR code. That QR code goes to their project page. In that project page, everything is mentioned. Who are the promoters of the property of the project? Who was the landowner? Who's the architect? Who are the registered brokers who can work on that project? And the documents, the land titles, the lawyers involved, everything. The title certificate. You get every aspect. If there are any disputes on the property, whether there is any court cases that are existing or closed, everything is mentioned over there, one after the other. All the approvals that the individual has got, everything is mentioned.
What are the most important things that I'm supposed to check as a future property owner?
First, see the title certificate of the land. Now, in case of a redevelopment, it is pretty simple and clean. The redevelopment agreement should be mentioned over there. You can ask for it from the developer. He won't let you take it. But you can go to their office and you can see the redevelopment agreement. Hire a lawyer. Now, for an under construction property, it is not really that necessary to have the lawyer. However, if you want to have one, then there is no harm in it. You see the title certificate, you see the land deal, the land documents, it is clearly available over there. If you are able to understand it, well and good. If you're not able to understand it, go to a real estate lawyer. The second thing you should see is if there are any disputes in that project. If there are any court cases going on, whether it's by some outside party or whether it is within the society itself, only someone has put a case on the developer. That's the second aspect that you can do. The third you can see is what are the clearances that the developer has. There is something called like a IOD, intimation of disapproval. You have to see which is called a commencement certificate. Then in the commencement certificate, it will get a little more technical for the audience, but a commencement certificate also tells you till how much can the developer build. How many floors can the developer build? So for example, if the developer is selling you the 20th floor, but they have permission only to build on the 10th floor, then you should not ideally buy the 20th floor because you're buying air. These are few things that you can keep an eye out.
Got it. Understood. And these are the red flags that you can have a look at and say, no, I'm not going to buy this property anymore.
Correct.
Understood.
See, in today's age, a lot of the information is available and the buyer, a real estate buyer has become very smart. With social media, with all the information available, it is pretty open.
So does the same logic also apply to commercial property as well?
Yes, you have to register no matter what project it is under construction. You have to have the RERA certificate with you before you can sell anything.
Sir, how do you gauge a prime location? Because the definition of prime location might be different for different people. But as per the market, how do you gauge if this location is prime enough or not?
Close to transportation, yet not noisy for the transportation. So you can be close to the metro, you can be close to the railway station, but you don't want to be touching the tracks. So you will have an apartment which is in metro, Mumbai metro is coming in many places. You will have two facing apartments. One apartment facing the metro, one apartment not facing the metro. In the same building itself, if the one apartment which is facing the metro will be probably 20% below price as compared to the property which is not facing the metro.
Why, sir? Metro looks so beautiful.
It gives you amazing rhythmic sounds also when it's passing by.
Acha.
Unless you have sound resistant windows, the sound of the metro is going to come. People don't hear the sound of the metro inside, but outside the sound is there. It's a railway track.
Yeah.
The sound is going to be there.
Got it. Understood. Aage? Metro and?
Accessibility to amenities, your road connection, whether the road is so, if you are on the main road, or if you are maybe 100 feet inside the main road, that is going to decide your noise level. So bottom line is that how far away are you from the noise level? That is for a residential property. Now, the same thing for a commercial property is completely flipped over. If your property, your commercial office space is maybe 2 minutes walking distance from the metro station, you don't care for the noise. You are thinking about the accessibility of your employees. So suddenly the dynamics and the qualification process is completely flipped over. Residential property, again, if you are on a higher floor, you have better views, you have good sunlight. On the commercial aspect, you are on a higher floor, you have a bigger view. That is also desirable. On the ground level, people in Mumbai, in Mumbai, people do not prefer the lower floors. They are usually sold last. If you go to see, a developer is also making his show unit on the lowest level. One is because of the accessibility. One is the fact that this is the last apartment which is going to get sold anyways. So they all keep it on the bottom level. And the show unit can be easily sold off in as-is condition at a better premium. Otherwise, keeping it at bare shell will not be able to sell it. These are the few basic points that you have to keep. Parking. What type of parking do you have? Do you have ramp parking? Do you have mechanical parking? How long is the parking going to take? Is your car going to fit in? Do you have a big car? Do you have a small car? How many dimensions do you have? So there is the stack parking where you can only park a smaller car on the top, and on the lower level you can park a bigger car.
Yeah.
So these are aspects. Elevators, density of the population, density of the building. What is the total land size? How much is the what are the amenities in the building that you are giving? Is it just a single amenity or is it multiple amenities? So there are multiple factors when you are looking at the qualification. And you have to see from the buyer's point of view, what does the buyer want? There has been a dynamic shift from standalone buildings to buildings with amenities now.
Yeah.
So investing in something which has amenities is more lucrative, easier to sell, less time on the market as compared to which is a standalone building.
Understood. Sir, apart from Mumbai, given a chance to invest in 5 cities, which cities would you pick and why?
I won't put it in any kind of numerical order, but I can tell you that these cities are popping in my mind immediately. First is Naya Raipur.
Naya Raipur.
When I went to Raipur, I saw the growth which is there. The old Raipur and the new Raipur, phenomenal. Beautiful roads, properly planned, structured, squares and blocks. I like that. It's a planned way of thinking. You have Chandigarh. Great place to live. Very well planned out. You have Pune. Not a very structured growth, but the influx of people and the infrastructure that you can see is going to be good. The government of Maharashtra is trying to connect Mumbai to Pune by building nice infrastructure. So people who also want to retire, I always recommend them to take a look at Pune, because you are, for those who are from Mumbai, because you are not going to compromise on the lifestyle, yet you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
So Pune is another aspect. Hyderabad is another city that I think would have a nice growth.
What about Gurgaon, sir? Do you think it's saturated?
Too much supply.
Too much supply.
Whenever there is a place where land is in abundance and apartments are growing tall and tall and tall, I don't see a growth over there. Sooner or later, the supply will catch up with the demand, and most of the demand is usually speculative. I don't like to go into such speculative, unsafe markets. I prefer where there is industry, where there is growth, where there is potential. So in tier 2 cities, I can't recollect any other name that I can think of.
So Naya Raipur, Chandigarh, Pune, Hyderabad.
These are the 4.
What about Lucknow, sir?
I have not been to Lucknow. I cannot comment on that.
Okay. Here are the most important things that we have learned today. One is rental yield and capital appreciation. And what we've understood is that in Mumbai, rental yield for residential will be around 2 to 3%, whereas when it comes to commercial, it could be around 6 to 7%. In rental yield for residential, there is short-term rental yield and there is long-term rental yield. Long-term rental yield is again 12 months to 60 months, and short-term rental yields could be something like an Airbnb, where you could expect 4 to 7 to 8% rental yield. Then we went towards understanding the different parts of Mumbai, and here's where you mentioned that there is Mumbai, there is Navi Mumbai, and there is Mumbai 3. In Mumbai, the market is saturated to an extent where in South Mumbai, a 1 BHK apartment would cost you anywhere between 2.5 to 2.7 crores. And this apartment may not be the most desirable apartment you might get. Then as you move towards Bandra, you could look at a price point of somewhere around, South Mumbai was 3 to 3.7 crores. Bandra was around 2.5 to 2.7 crores. And as you move towards Malad and Borivali, you have a price point of 85 lakhs to 1.1 crore for a 1 BHK apartment. Then we move towards Navi Mumbai, and you mentioned that you could get a 1 BHK apartment for about 1.2 to 1.25 crores, which will have much better amenities. You will have a much better quality of life. But right now it is saturating to an extent where it is moving towards Bandra. And you mentioned this in terms of the timeline, that if Mumbai is 2025, then Navi Mumbai is in early 2000s, and Mumbai 3 is somewhere in the 70s or 80s. And here's where we also spoke about the gold mine opportunity in Mumbai 3. Assuming that the government policies and the government's vision stay stable, you could expect an exponential return out of your real estate investment, because in Mumbai 3, the costs are so low that you could get a 1 BHK apartment for just 10 to 25 lakh rupees, and you could get a 15,000 square feet land parcel at a much meager rate as compared to what it is over here. And we also spoke about the hypothesis of Mumbai 3 failing. And you mentioned that because Mumbai 3 has the backing of the city of Mumbai, which is the financial capital of India, the possibilities of failures are very, very less. And more importantly, we do not have any other place to go towards if not for Mumbai 3, which is why this could be a gold mine investment if you have the corpus to put in money. But you also mentioned a disclaimer over here that you should just put money over here and forget it, because it's going to take anywhere between 2 to 2.5 decades for you to realize significant growth. So if you have the money, put it over there and forget it. And the second disclaimer was that there are a lot of scams going on. So you have to have a trusted legal advisor, and you should go to a trusted broker so that you get this job done very well. And when I spoke to you about your operations, you mentioned that Mumbai 3 is not one of your fortes and you don't intend to get into it anytime soon. Then we spoke about how do you exactly pick the right property to invest in. And here you mentioned Here you mentioned a very simple framework where you're supposed to look at the experience of the developer and the track record of the developer. We have two types of developers over here: public listed developers and private developers. Public listed developers have their track record out in the public, so it's easier to analyze. When it comes to private developers, you can go and talk to them, and because that is their trophy, they will boast about it. And if they are not boasting about it, you know that there is something wrong. Then we spoke about the return on investment that we can generate out of real estate in Mumbai. And here's where you mentioned that over a span of 3 years, you can generate a 50% return on your corpus. And if you invest 5 crore rupees, you can get up to 7.5 crores once you exit, provided you enter the market while the property launches and you exit the market during possession. And here's where we got into the details of flipping, where you mentioned if you want to enter and exit the market in the most convenient way possible, you need to have a corpus. This corpus needs to be anywhere between 1 to 3 crore rupees. If you enter the market by paying 30% on a 3 crore property, you enter the market by putting in 1 crore, and you can negotiate with the developer on the basis of you providing them more capital upfront in exchange for either a discount, which could be anywhere between 10 to 15%, or in exchange for you paying the rest of the amount during possession. If you do that well, then you will realize that generating a 50% return on real estate is not that difficult. Here again, there were certain conditions where if the developer runs out of properties to sell, then you are practically sitting on a gold mine. If this person does not run out of properties to sell, then the price at which the developer is selling becomes your benchmark. So if he's selling at, let's say, 7 crores, you can slightly lower your price to 6.5, 6.75 crores and you'll make a healthy return out of it. It's easier to sell. Whereas if you go above it, because the developer is offering it at a cheaper rate, it will be difficult to sell. And since we are flipping, it's easier to exit very, very quickly. Then we spoke about the property checklist. Here you again mentioned track record and have a look at the RERA website. And then we spoke about the prime location, where you mentioned that noise is a very, very important factor in Mumbai. You have to be closer to the transportation, but you have to have less noise. If that sweet spot is met, then it is a prime location. One example of the same that we saw was facing the metro or not facing the metro. I was under the impression that metro looks beautiful, so facing the metro is great. But that is only when the metro sound is not bothering enough. If you're far away and you can see the metro, that's great. But if you're close by and you can see the metro, it's going to sound bad, and that is undesirable. And then we also spoke about the accessibility to the road. The farther you go away from the main road, the more difficult navigation will get, and hence the property prices may go down. But if you're closer to the main road, it is easier, provided there isn't a lot of noise. For example, we spoke about Oris Serenity and the Link Road. Because it is attached to the Link Road, the property prices are very, very good. Then we spoke about the top 5 cities that you would invest in, which included Naya Raipur, Chandigarh, Pune and Hyderabad. And you can't think of the 5th city, so we'll leave to that. And then we spoke about redevelopment, where you mentioned that in basic terms, if you have a 400 square feet apartment which costs 50,000 rupees per square feet, it essentially is priced at 2 crore rupees. But once it gets redeveloped, you will get 600 square feet, and because the property price will go up, because it's a newer apartment now, your property price may go from 50,000 to 75,000, which means on a 2 crore rupee property, if redeveloped over a span of 2.5 years, that property may appreciate to 4.5 to 5 crores. But you also mentioned that just because your property is old doesn't mean it will go into redevelopment. It has to have certain criteria as met for it to be redeveloped. Now, either you could get into the hassles of understanding those criteria, or you could hire a consultant, get that person to conduct an audit of your entire society and see if it is up for redevelopment or not. If it is, then you can hold on to the property. If it is not, then it doesn't make any sense. And then we spoke about the slum problem of Mumbai. As long as here also we spoke about how builders do the right thing and the wrong thing. If they're doing the right thing, they will give accommodation to the people whom they have rehabilitated first, and then they will build their own property. But because builders have done the wrong thing by building their luxury apartment first at the cost of other people's living, that is where things got shady. So the government has improved the norms, because of which now things are better. But when will it get the best? When will it achieve its level best? We don't know that yet. Does that sum up our conversation, sir?
I believe so. Beautifully done.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. I am glad.
Thank you for having me. I wanted to I wanted to say that to be seated in a chair where some of the greats have come and sat, it is my honor, and thank you for giving me this chair, the respect and the hospitality that you offered.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. It's our pleasure. And we will call you again next time for Dubai Masterclass.